Hey guys, M Zizzle back again to look at another showdown slate. We got Monday Night Football tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So just like we've been doing in the past, going to take a look at the game, kind of my thoughts on how I see it going, and the players that I like, the players that I'm going to favor to put in the captain position, and just some overall strategy for this slate. So let's hop right into it. So got DraftKings pulled up here. If we go over to the captain's slot there, we can see kind of the prices. Obviously, Antonio Brown, most expensive, followed by Roethlisberger, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick. So kind of my thoughts on how this game's going to go. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think both these teams are really, really good on offense. Defensively, both teams haven't been great. They've been giving up points. And I think we're going to see kind of a similar type situation with this game. Both very explosive offenses with multiple weapons. The quarterbacks kind of spread the ball around to a multitude of targets. And they put up a lot of points. Now, I do think that Pittsburgh is the team that I'm going to target more than Tampa Bay. Although Tampa Bay is favored by, I think, 1 point at the moment. So Vegas has Tampa winning this game. Pittsburgh, though, is 0-2 or 0-1-1. And they need to kind of get a win here to get their season on track. So I actually lean towards Pittsburgh pulling this out. But, it's going to be a high-scoring game either way. Going to be a close game more than likely. So we got to kind of decide who we're going to get in this lineup. And I think it's going to be a little bit tricky because they do spread the ball around, both of these teams. Pittsburgh throws to Antonio Brown, but also to Smith-Schuster. You've got Connor. Jesse James got involved a lot last week. And Tampa Bay does something similar. They give the ball to Evans. Deshaun Jackson on deep balls. Chris Godwin's been involved. O.J. Howard has been involved as well. So I really recommend playing multiple lineups tonight and just kind of mismatching and putting a few things together. I'll put together a lineup for you guys that I think will work out and kind of probably if I had to build one lineup the way that I would go. But I think the best way to do it is to have a little bit of Antonio Brown in your captain, have some with Roethlisberger, have some with Fitzpatrick, and then maybe sprinkle a couple lineups with a Connor, or Mike Evans, and then you could take a flyer on a Smith-Schuster and maybe a Deshaun Jackson as well in one or two lineups as well, just so that you have a little bit of everybody because I think a couple of these guys are going to go off and have huge days, but with how these teams kind of spread the ball around, it could go either way, or to either, or to many different targets, I should say. So my top target is going to be Antonio Brown, though. I think he's kind of, for his standards, got off to a slow start. If we look at him, getting a lot of targets, but hasn't gotten over 100 yards in either of the first 2 weeks. And last week, 17 targets, only 67 yards. So he just hasn't been having as big of an impact as he usually does. A lot of issues this past week with him on Twitter and in the media. So I think that he's fired up and ready to have a huge game. So he's my number one target when I'm talking about captain position. So I'm going to throw him in there. He is most expensive, though, and doesn't limit us in some other areas. But I'm going to go with Antonio Brown and have him be my main target. I'll have the most shares of him. I just see him going off today. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 10 to 12 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown or two. I think he's on a mission to really produce tonight and get a win for Pittsburgh. So I'm going to have majority of my captains be Antonio Brown. So let's just move down the list. I'll give my thoughts on the rest of the guys, and then we'll start to build up the lineup. So Roethlisberger and Fitzpatrick, I think, are both viable plays. Like I said, you could put either of them in the captain slot, depending upon if you think Tampa or Pittsburgh is going to be the team that kind of pulls this out. I lean Pittsburgh, so I'm leaning Roethlisberger, but Fitzpatrick's been absolutely ridiculous through the first 2 weeks. I just see him coming down. I just don't see him sustaining this long term. But listen, the Bills beat the Vikings this on Sunday, so anything can happen. So we definitely learned that this past weekend, where there was so many upsets and things that just went the total opposite of the way that most people thought they were going to go. So love both those quarterbacks. Think they put up big numbers again. Connor, I like him a lot too. He had a big day week 1, kind of on the ground. Week 2, less of an impact on the ground, but they were really playing catch up on Kansas City. That's kind of going to be an outlier game, I think, for any Pittsburgh running back. They like to run the football, and he's not going to get 8 attempts probably at any other time during the season. He's game in and game out going to be a double-digit rushing guy, and he also gets involved in the passing game. So I like Connor. It's just, he's expensive, but not one of the most expensive guys. So can we fit him in? That's going to be the question. But I'm definitely going to have a couple lineups with him as my captain and think he has a big day. Mike Evans, main target for Tampa Bay from a pass catching point of view. He's their main guy. Deshaun Jackson has been having a better season so far, but he's been feasting on some big plays. Evans is kind of the more consistent guy. If you look at his game log, 7 targets and 12. Scored a touchdown in both games. And really has just had, very nice performances. So if we compare him to Deshaun, who's kind of done, had the bigger days, but it's on less targets. And it's really, a 75-yarder, take that away. He's 3 for 60 yards. We take away the 58-yarder, he's 4 for 90 and 1 touchdown. So he's got to get a big touchdown to really get to this high 20, 30 level. And he's just not going to do it every, week in and week out. I'd bet against him doing it this week just based on the odds of it. I mean, he's done it 2 times already this season. How many times can Deshaun Jackson bust a 50-plus yard, touchdown? So I'm not going to have tons of Deshaun Jackson. Like I said earlier, you could take a flyer, put him at captain in one of your lineups, and hope that he does break another one. But I'm going to be off of him for the most part in this game. Smith-Schuster, like him a lot too. I think Antonio Brown's obviously the better guy to have, but he's getting tons of targets as well. I mean, 19 targets against Kansas City. Now, yes, that was an absolute shootout of a game. They were coming from behind. Not going to see that again. But still, week 1, 8. And this is going to be a high-scoring game too, so I could see Juju getting double-digit targets again. And he always has the big playability, so I do like me some Juju. Move down further, Godwin, don't love him. Have a little bit of him, and because he's 6,200, and he has a touchdown upside, not bad. But he just hasn't been getting the targets and yards that I necessarily like. He's been kind of meeting value based on getting a touchdown in both games. So I like him. And for 6,200, you have the option of getting the touchdown. And like I said, if Fitzpatrick kind of moves the ball around to different targets, not a bad play. O.J. Howard at 5,600. I do like him tonight for that price. We see he's not getting tons of targets. And again, it was a long play for him as well. And this is what Tampa's doing, though. They've been scoring big plays. And that's kind of what their offense has been so far. So someone's going to do it again. And I think that Fitzpatrick kind of likes O.J. Howard a little bit more than Brate. Seems he's kind of the number 1 tight end so far. So for 5,200, again, in a high-scoring game, you get another pass catcher in there. Kind of like it. Let's see what else if we go down. Jesse James. Him and Vance McDonald's kind of split playing time. Now, Jesse's obviously had the better performances. Last week, 138 yards. But I don't know. It could be Vance. We look at Vance. He got 5 targets as well. Just didn't do as much with it. So, again, for the price points, don't mind either. And you need some cheap guys to fit the bigger guys in. So I'm probably going to go to Jesse and maybe a little bit of Vance as well. Just because, why not? Why not just continue to load up on the guys who catch the football from Big Ben. Now, an interesting guy here is Peyton Barber for me. Really cheap starting running back, 4,600. Like, you're not going to see that often. And look at the carries. 19 carries week 1, 16 carries week 2. Did nothing with it. I mean, is really doing nothing with the carries, but they're giving him the ball. So you got to think eventually that he's going to have a game where he gets in the end zone, or he just, 1.4 yards per carry is terrific. Right here, he got 3.6, 69 yards. If we can get him a catch or two and he scores a touchdown, that's a nice day. And he's only 4,600. So I don't mind Peyton Barber, actually. For such a small price, the guy that's getting the ball 19 and 16 times, and he got 2 targets here, so he had 19 opportunities in this game and 18 in this game, and I'm getting at 4,600, I think I'm going to have a good amount of him and hope that he can get it together and get in the end zone. Starting running back and getting starting running back type opportunity. It's not like they're not giving him the ball when he's not successful. They keep giving it to him. And this is an offense that moves the ball up and down the field. So why not have a little bit of Barber for that price? I mean, he's like a kicker price almost. A better kicker could be in the 4,000s. Continued down, I see obviously James Washington, but don't love him. He's kind of just like a really boomer bust, hasn't done much. And then we come to the kickers, which, me, I always usually have one of the kickers in the lineup. Another can go wrong there. Lean Boswell, because I see Tampa pulling this game out, but you can't go wrong with Cannizzaro either. And then the Ds I'm going to avoid. Don't really want any of the defenses. They haven't stopped anyone up to this point in the season. Don't see it starting with these 2 high-powered offenses, so going to stay away there. So let's start kind of filling out the lineup now and see what we can get now that you have my thoughts on, kind of the players I'm going to be targeting. So let's throw in Peyton Barber, like we said. Let's throw in Boswell. And that leaves us $8K left. I'd love to get one of the quarterbacks in my lineup, so let's see if I can get Big Ben. What that leaves me with $6,750. And then I wish that I could do Connor or Schuster, but it's, probably just not going to happen. I mean, you could do Connor and I could do Cannizzaro. Let's see if we come down to Juju. Leaves us 4,500. We could then go with Vance and really go with all the Pittsburgh pass catchers. But I don't know if I love him either. If we come down to... Yeah, see, this is just a tough situation because it doesn't seem like we could really get all... I would love to get a Fitzpatrick, a Connor, a Mike Evans, a Juju, or a Jackson. I don't love Jackson, so I'd like to not go Jackson and still get someone else that I am confident in the lineup. It doesn't look like I can do that. If I go with one of the big guys, I'm going to have to come down to the kicker. I mean, if you go to Cannizzaro, you could do everybody besides Fitzpatrick. I could throw Mike Evans in there. I could do Connor, which I like. If you like Deshaun Jackson, you could do Jackson and O.J. Howard, or Jackson and Jesse James. That's an option. Definitely an option. I'm going to try to get one of the big boys in. So I accidentally cleared the whole lineup. Let's go Brown, and then we're going to go with Boswell, and we're going to go with Peyton Barber. And then let's throw Big Ben in. And then let's try to get Evans. Let's get the main target for Tampa, because I think both teams are going to score. So I got Barber and Evans from Tampa, Big Ben and Antonio Brown. And then we'll come down and we'll just go with both kickers. Hopefully maybe they move the ball and they get a couple field goals. And, I could see both kickers putting up 7, 8 points, which is, I think, probably better than a Washington or a Vance or maybe even a Jesse James or an O.J. Howard, unless one of them gets into the end zone. And then you get all the upside of an Evans, a Big Ben, and a Brown. So that's kind of what I like. You can mix and match if you like Juju better. You could throw him in there, same situation. If you like, if you like Connor, throw Connor. It works. All of them work. The only guy we can't get up to is Fitzpatrick. If we wanted Fitzpatrick in there, we're at 2,700. You have to go with you have to go like with Tampa D or really take a flyer in the Humphreys or something like that, which I'm just not willing to do. So I think if I was to really go with how I see this game, it's a passing game. Go with Evans and myself, Cannizzaro, and I think that's a solid team. So we got Antonio Brown, Boswell, Barber, Roethlisberger, Evans, and Cannizzaro. Just going for the game script, back and forth, passing type game where they're moving the ball through the air. Brown's getting tons of love. Evans is getting tons of love as well. And Barber maybe gets a goal line carry and runs one in. Also can catch a ball or two out of the backfield. And then the kickers just get the extra points, get a field goal or two, and maybe the 7, 8 points that I'm looking for, and let the other guys eat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. If you did, really appreciate a like. Leave any comments, any questions. I always get back to you guys with answers. So if you have any questions, you can just leave a comment. You can also reach me on Twitter at mzizzle22. So don't hesitate to follow me there, and you could send me any messages there as well. And if you're enjoying the channel, please subscribe. I know we've gotten a few more subscribers that we've been pumping this stuff out, and I'd love you guys, if you're watching the videos, to become subscribers as well so you don't miss any of the content. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.